Hi, hello, how's it going? Welcome to the book haul of Erika, where Erika cannot stop buying the books. Welcome. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I really like Sudoku. I've been playing this game since around the 1st or 2nd grade, and it's addicting. I finished the last book that I had of this not too long ago, so I bought a new one. I don't know if you would consider this a book, but technically it is. This is a book of Sudoku. If given the opportunity, I could sit down and just solve these puzzles all day long because they're that addicting. So, yeah. The next book I have here is Slouching Toward Nirvana, New Poems by Charles Bukowski. I've never read poetry. It's always been very intimidating to me because I don't know where to start and I feel like I'm not going to understand it. But I told myself, hey Erika, you go buy a poetry book and you read poetry because you just should. So, better late than never. I'm scared. I've said this recently, I've never read any George Orwell. I have never read Animal Farm. I have never read 1984. I was supposed to read Animal Farm in high school, but I didn't because I was a rebel. Not really, I just didn't read it in Spark Notes. So I have a friend, and for the last almost a year now, they have been pestering me endlessly to read 1984 and Animal Farm. It's annoyed me so much to the point where I went out to the bookstore and I bought Down and Out in Paris and London, which I know they have not read, so I purposely bought this so that I can read this and finally say, yeah, I've read George Orwell, leave me alone. And they can't get mad because even though I haven't read those two books, at least I can say I've read George Orwell. And I have no idea what this book is about, but I did it solely for that purpose. I am an asshole. But with that being said, I do plan to purchase Animal Farm and 1984 very soon. I want to read them. I will read them. Not too long ago, I read The Storied Life of A.J. Thickery by Gabrielle Zevin. I buddy read that with Sue. And in that book, a big part of that is Edgar Allan Poe, who I am not very familiar with. I've only read The Telltale Heart, and that book really pushed me to finally want to read Edgar Allan Poe, so I bought this. It's Great Tales and Poems. It's just a collection of poems and his shorter works, I guess. I'm not sure. The reason why I've never wanted to read any Edgar Allan Poe is because there was a guy in high school who, it doesn't matter, but he really liked Edgar Allan Poe, but it's been forever, so it's fine. So I think I'm okay with reading this. The next book I have was given to me by a friend. They asked me not too long ago if I had ever read Catch-22, and I replied with, no, what's that? And they yelled at me and then gave me this, Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, which apparently I should have read by now. I don't know what this is. This says it's the classic #1 bestseller. On the back it says Catch-22 is like no other novel. It has its own rationale, its own extraordinary character. It moves back and forth from hilarity to horror. It is outrageously funny and strangely affecting. It is totally original. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this book is about. It says World War II. So, yeah. Next I have the complete short stories of Ernest Hemingway. I said in a tag video not too long ago that this book terrifies me because there are so many short stories in here, and I also said that I'm not familiar with Ernest Hemingway. I only very recently read The Old Man and the Sea, which I really liked. I'm going to start reading this really soon. I'm planning, hopefully, to read 3 short stories a week. That's what I hope for. So expect to hear thoughts in the near future. Next, I have Secondhand Souls by Christopher Moore. This is the sequel to A Dirty Job, and I love that book. It is hilarious and wonderful. It's about a man who finds out that he's deaf, and it's ridiculous, hilarious, and I loved it. And this is the sequel, which came out, I want to say around a year or so ago, and I really wanted this book when it came out, but the hardback was $27. I was not going to spend $27 on this book. It's not even that long, but I waited patiently. It wasn't fun, but I did it. And I looked on the wonderful World Wide Web not too long ago and found a copy for only $3, so I bought it, obviously. Then I picked up Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I feel as if this is a book I should have read a long time ago as well. And again, with this book, I have no idea what this is about, no clue in the slightest, and I kind of want to keep it that way. I don't want to know anything about it because maybe I'll enjoy it more if I go into it blindly. That's what I like to tell myself sometimes, so we'll find out. Another person who I've never read anything from before is Ray Bradbury, and for Fahrenheit 451, I want to read that book. I just don't want to read it yet. So I figured I would read something else by him, and I picked up The Halloween Tree. I love Halloween. I will read this, and then afterwards I will then force myself to read Fahrenheit 451. The next book I have is the book that I'm most excited for in this haul, and that is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. I am surprised with myself that I haven't read this yet, but when I saw this edition, I realized that I needed it in my life, and here we are with it now. There are illustrations in this book, and they are gorgeous. Look at it. And there's another. I get really happy when books have illustrations because it's just so exciting. It makes me feel like a child, and I'm like 5 years old, so it's cool. And the last book I have for this book haul is The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and this is a poem. One long poem written in 7 parts. I always told myself that when I would finally start reading poetry that this would be the first thing that I would start with because it's about a sailor. And I have already read this. I read this the other day, and it was very moving and depressing, but I loved it, and I have a lot of thoughts and opinions that I will be sharing very soon. And those are all the books that I have collected in this month. It's a lot, I know. But if you've read any of these books, if you have thoughts and opinions, share them below. If you want to talk with me, leave a comment. And yeah, you have a lovely rest of your day. Goodbye.